I am, Greg, I'm just telling you, I am really looking forward to catching up with you after years and years. I shouldn't say years and years. It's not like it's been that long,
Right?
but there's been a lot of, a lot of changes in the world of food service, the multiple other industries that you're involved in.
Right.
And I know people probably roll their eyes when they hear about, AI and automation. So we're going to kind of save that probably a little more toward the end because there's a lot of other interesting things you're doing on your micro learning platform. And that's really
Sure.
what I want people to learn about. That to me is so incredibly clever. Greg, so
Yeah.
good to see you again down here on the Jobtopia Learning and Development Podcast. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me again and talking to you about what I think is a very important subject. Workforce development and training people and helping people, smooth out their bumps in the road and their operations and giving opportunities to the frontline staff.
It's so incredibly important. And when we're done with this, folks, if you look down in the show notes, you will find Greg's original conversation with us. I've been joking around. I've had a few people on before that were my OGs. That we were just audio,
Oh, right.
back when we started, right? So now we have to worry about how we look.
Well, you got a great setup there, so I'm very impressed. So kudos.
Well, it helps when you have the Super Bowl team in the
That's
background.
right. That's pretty sharp, actually. Nice.
Well, yes, years of suffering with the Seahawks. We've gotten back to the Super Bowl. So
See, you got to
listen,
stay with your team.
listen. I'm an Atlanta native, and I know it kind of drives my friends crazy. They're like, why do I stick with the Seahawks? I was like, well, I don't need to suffer with two teams. I suffer enough, so I don't need to add another problem child to
And
my.
I'm speaking to you from Kansas City, Missouri, so you can imagine what the mood is sometimes around here with what's going on with the Chiefs. So a lot of
Very
joy the last
unfortunate.
few years. This year, not so much. I moved to town, and this is what happens. So see,
So
I am
you're
not
really
just
the
professional
impetus.
sports.
Well, it's funny, it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. And you,
Right,
you think about sport, sports is kind of a good analogy. Professionals, they have coaches. And
right,
if you don't think a golfer has a coach, a swing
right.
coach, if you don't think of a quarterback has a quarterback coach, and so
Exactly
on and
right.
so forth, you're really you're off. You don't
Right,
just become an expert overnight.
right,
And I think that's what's so amazing, really, about this micro learning platform that you have. So
right, right.
before we really dive into Pineapple Academy, just back up a little bit. Tell
Sure.
people the concept
Yep.
and maybe kind of touch on some of the industries that you're
Yep.
supporting.
Nice. So, we're in our 8th year of Pineapple Academy, and so prior to that, I was in operations for a number of years, particularly in hospitality, food service, hospitals, senior living, and I've traveled the country helping operators, with process improvements, training on the job, all that kind of stuff, and coaching, the leadership and the unit managers. And what you find out if you've done this enough is you realize the problems they're the same. I don't care if I'm in Hawaii or in Maine or in Alaska or down in Mississippi. You see the same issues. And so what's happening in 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 the food service industry in particular, but I think you can see this in other industries like retail and whatnot. You have people who have moved into these leadership positions, and meanwhile, budgets have been cut. We don't have learning and development people. We don't have train the trainers coming in. I mean, when I was coming up, and admittedly, it's 45 years ago, so
Oh, geez, we don't
it
date
is what
ourselves,
it is.
Greg. Oh,
But it is. But I think what's good about that, and I've reflected on this many times. Trust me, is I've seen it the way it was done. Back in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s. Well, then budgets started getting cut, and then we don't have trainers, and so I think leadership really thinks that these frontline staff. It's like, oh, they're only hourly employees, because you just mentioned something that triggered this thought. It's about a dishwasher or a utility worker. Oh, he's just a utility worker. It's no big deal. Hire the guy and he starts tomorrow, and boom, he'll be doing pots and pans and running, in some cases, a $250,000 piece of equipment that is, flight machine dishwashers. I mean, they're
That blows
quarter
my
million
mind.
dollars.
That blows
But
my mind.
and yet,
Always.
and yet we go, here you go, throw in an apron, have a good day. And so it's like,
So
what?
much
You don't know
is
how to do
dependent
dishes?
upon that foundational level employee.
Yeah. And so when you look at things like this, and I've seen it, dozens of times over the years, you begin to realize it's like there's just a big disconnect between leadership and ownership and understanding what actually happens in the day-to-day operations. And so the solution that we came up with, my business partner Tucker Graves and I, was we need short form videos to replicate that experience of Greg being there to do on the job training. That's just not scalable. You can't do that. Not to mention customers can't afford it. And the other problem is, what happens when you leave? What happens when you have turnover? Where does that knowledge transfer come from? Right? No one's looking at the checklist that Greg developed while he was with you during this, or no one's looking at the binders that we created. Nobody has time to read anything. And then meanwhile, we go through COVID. And so what happens? You talk about, knowledge transfer evaporating. You're talking about a lot of people that like in my age group, retire. They go, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. It's too stressful. Totally get it. No shame any there. But the problem is now the people that have been in the trenches for years doing this work and really understand it are gone. So who ends up being the unit manager? Typically, it's the person who's been there the longest. I might have been a dishwasher 4 years ago coming into this organization. Let's stick with senior living. It's like, where do you think senior living is hiring their people? These are locals. These are people that live in the community that just needed a paycheck, and they go in as a CNA, or they go in as a pot washer, or a part-time maintenance man, or whatever. Now, here we are, fast forward a few years from now, they're been there the longest, they have the most knowledge base, so they become the unit manager. So the problem is the unit managers are often not trained in the particular skill set as a leader, as a manager, and as someone who really knows how to run a food service operation in the focus that we have right now. So, but I would argue this happens everywhere. And so this is a real problem. We call it the lack of knowledge transfer. And so we developed these short form videos, and that was our initial mission, was to create a content library that we could share and sell to our customers. The problem that we ran into is that you realize that you're really just a database of a library. And now people need to put it into their systems, and they need to use them different ways. And so we listen and collect data and try to understand. So we became a technology company, because in order to get that digital asset to the frontline worker, you have to look at all the ways they need that content. And you have to understand it's not just in your LMS. A dishwasher is not going to stop working, go to HR, and sit down at a desktop and look at the LMS to learn what his next move is. I mean, or what he has to do to fix the problem with the $250,000 flight machine, or how to what a drying rack is. There you
This is
go.
on everybody.
That's right. And
And
so
I
why
imagine what
fight
you're
it?
saying is it's gotta be, it must tie into an app. I mean, how that
Exactly
sounds
right.
exactly like what you're talking about. I mean, that's
It's exactly right.
yep.
And so, and the other thing that you found in businesses, that people were resistant to the team members having a cell phone. They know it's in their back pocket as soon as they walk in the door. It's with them all day. And so I'm not saying that, that's the only way to deliver it. You can have tablets around, you have access to other types of devices in there. If you don't want them to use their own phone, or you're not willing to compensate them for using their own phone, fine, buy some tablets, have them around. It's the same idea. So now we bring that content into the workplace. We can bring it right down to the workstation. So at any moment in the day, I grab my device, I hit a QR code, I put in my employee ID number. I have a PIN number that I go in, and now the system knows it's me, and it's recorded. And at the time of need, I can look at this, and I don't even have to leave my station.
Yeah,
And in
that's
some
powerful.
ways, it's even better to be in your station, because you can, if you had done what we call user generated content from the client, shot a video of that station, how to set it up. I'm literally standing there watching a video how to set up my station. Wow.
That's powerful.
It's very powerful,
Yeah.
because meanwhile, the chef is over here putting out fires. The food service director is in budget meetings or some other waste of time that doesn't give them the ability to be on the floor to mentor and train. But at least now we have a way to deliver that content directly to the team member right when they need it. And
Well,
so that's what's
you
so
just triggered
exciting.
so many other thoughts with me too, Greg.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I kind of jumped
that's
in
okay.
on you there. I just what kind of came to me is that you're talking about an industry or industries where there's high turnover,
That's right.
and so this is a multiplying effect.
That's right.
It's not that you're just bringing content down to the station, which in and of itself is amazing, because let's
Right.
say this is from our first conversation. I remember you had a session on knife skills. So
Right.
let's say you're trying to level up. You're
Right.
going to go from a dishwasher to line support.
Right.
Okay, you see a. So what if you had that tablet right there in front of you,
Exactly.
and you're like watching how they set it up, hand position. It's literally, because let's face it, it's kind of a hands-on thing. So I think that's fantastic. But what really hits me though, because there's so much turnover, that the desire for people to train diminishes. The enthusiasm to train, the motivation to train is it's hard to manufacture that when you see the turnover, right? But yet that's exactly what's needed for them to be successful. So it's just catch-22.
It
Like,
is.
I don't want to train them because they're going to leave, and they're going to leave because they don't get trained. And so you're in a death spiral.
Do you know that it is factored into budgets today, the turnover rate? They accept a turnover rate of 100%, 150%, 200%.
God, is that high?
It's just cost of doing business. Is it really? Is the stress on HR and unit managers and the team that is there trying to do their job, but they can't because there's missing people there? Do you think to spend a little bit of money per person, per month, per year, investing into the team doesn't counterbalance and change that percentage and reduce it? What is the number one reason why people quit?
Well, it's your boss.
Your boss. What does your boss not do for you as a team member? He doesn't see you, or she doesn't see you. They don't take the time. They don't mentor you. They don't train you. Most people see their boss just running around like a chicken without a head. And unfortunately, senior leadership has allowed this to happen. I'll give you a great example, not to pick on, QSRs and fast food. But do you
They've
know
got it pretty tough, though.
that the unit managers in these QSRs and franchise groups take their strongest person that knows how to work, turns them into a unit manager, pays them salary, and guess what they do now? They're not working 40 hours a week or a little bit of OT maybe, on 50 hours. Now they're working 70, 80 hours a week because they're on salary. They have just basically signed on to be, the dishwasher when the dishwasher's in there, or take the trash out or whatever. They're not doing their job anymore. They're not a unit manager anymore. They're just a fill in the hole person. And so it's really discouraging to see what's happened. Again, it's like corporate has decided, well, this is the path of least resistance. We're going to pay this guy. We're going to take him from 50,000 to maybe 65,000, and now we're going to make him work 80 hours a week, and we're not going to hire people as much.
If you're doing the math on that, you've just lost money. I don't know, if the
100%.
numbers, add up like that. But if you're hourly, then you get overtime.
That's exactly right.
If you're really smart, you would say, well, wait a minute.
Right.
How many hours am I going to be working?
That's right.
Yeah, so you're right. They just become, so you're a full-time person, so you're always going to be there. So now you can just float around and cover those dark areas, the holes.
Right.
Right.
But
And
when you do that, what aren't you doing? You're not paying attention to the business,
I
right?
just had this conversation literally yesterday with my boss, the
Mhm,
CEO of our company.
mhm.
And as we look across our organization, we fall into the trap of the operation will swallow you whole
That's right.
and you're unable to lift your head up and look ahead for the business.
That's
And that
right.
is exactly what you're talking about.
That's exactly what
You
I'm
have
talking
to
about.
have enough people, you have to have the structure, you have to have upper management that says key people have to spend time in deep thinking, critical thinking,
That's right.
and planning, looking ahead, having time set aside.
Right.
You cannot just show up and do your job if
Right.
you're in management. That you're missing the whole boat
You're,
of
you're missing the boat. Here's the other thing that managers don't think about. Who has the most tribal knowledge of the operation? Who really knows what's going on? It's the frontline staff. They see it all. If you get to the point of moving from this top-down management theory to servant leadership, whatever you want to call it, I don't care what you call it.
I
uh,
love that term though.
it
I've
is.
actually been
It's a great term, and we're hearing it more and more and more. And I think people are beginning to wake up. Like, yeah, we're there to serve them, to help them become, great team members. So once you shift to that viewpoint and you start engaging and bringing the staff into decision making and looking for ways, you'd be amazed the ideas they have how to fix problems. I mean, I've been there, done that. It's like the most rewarding thing because then you know what you have? You have buy-in. And now they're doing it not because it's a memo from corporate says do this. They're doing it because they figured it out and they're helping themselves and they're helping the organization at the same time. That's what we're
and
trying to move to.
okay, so you know what? This is really interesting. You're solving a bigger problem
100%.
by taking the lift off of training.
Yes.
So it's kind of, you know what? That's kind of sneaky in a way, right? Because it'd be real
Admittedly, it is.
in a good way. I mean, it's not
No,
like,
it
you're
is.
showing up and
It
saying, you're not
totally
showing
is.
up and saying, our job
No,
is to help you get trained.
no.
No, 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 no. No,
Right.
no, no. We're up here and you need to be up here. Your
Mhm.
managers need to be operating up here. The problem is you're having so much churn down here.
Yep.
So we're going to help eliminate, smooth that out,
That's right.
give up skilling, et cetera,
Yep.
right? And that settles everything down. And now if you can build it into their system, I mean, you are talking about
Sure.
philosophically helping them change, right? But you're there,
It
you're
is.
coaching them too. I just picked up on that. I'm like, wait a minute. Greg is not selling a
He's
training
very
platform.
sneaky. I'm trying
Oh,
to make
that
you better
is,
without you even knowing it. No.
look at that. I've seen through your ruse.
Well,
No, I think,
unfortunately, that is kind of sometimes, the adage, you can take a horse to water, right? And I've seen it, with our customers. There's some, we take them to the water and they drink, and suddenly it's like, oh, this is awesome. There's others we take them there and go, this is as simple as it is, how to do this, and they're like, it's like, oh, I can't, it's just too much. So, because we monitor usage, I mean, we see what every single customer is doing with the platform and the content. So it's an interesting situation, and so now we're going to a year of kind of like marketing where we're going to tell our story better, and so that people really understand what it is that we're trying to do. And it's not about selling content. It's about fixing
yes.
a problem that think of us as your on the job trainer. We just happen to be digital. And here's the beautiful thing about our new platform that we're talking about here, and we're going to get into this AI discussion too, is you can now shoot your own content. And guess what? It costs pennies to shoot the content these days. Shoot it on a
Okay.
smartphone.
So how does that work? Let's go ahead and jump
So
into the micro learning platform.
I'll go back to my original, demonstration. So here's a customer. They have, the hand washing, hygiene, all the, the fundamentals they got to have. But that is just to get the person into the mindset of they're in an organization where food is our focus and there's ways to handle it. And we have to do that because we have to keep everybody safe. So now it's like, well, now we need you to do your job. So yes, I have videos on how to cook eggs and do all this kind of stuff. But it's like you have a station now. Let's say you're the pizza making guy, right? And you have to set up your station every day to a standard so that you can put out the volume and have consistency. Well, you have a workplace, and now I am the executive chef or I'm the food service director, whatever. I go there and I shoot some videos about, okay, this is your workstation. Here's the equipment that you have. This is how you use this piece of equipment, whether it's a wood fired oven or different, rapid cook oven. I mean, there's a million ways to cook a pizza, right? Now I've got all my toppings. It's all, organized such a way. The boxes are up here. The plates are down here. It's like you can actually do a video on how to set up your station and why you do it this way so that when you get an order in, everything is exactly where it is. And it's like that every single day. Because
And
that's
portion
where
control.
consistency comes from. And portion
And
control. Yeah, we can get into all that. So the problem is you're not going to be able to get a subject matter expert, just to put in random content about this. Sometimes because you have a specific process at your place, let's just say it's Tony's Pizza, it's like, Greg might have some videos there like how to slice and dice and do all this stuff, and you're taking advantage of it. But you have your secret sauce, you have your secret process or
right.
proprietary stuff. So I can't picture what that is. You're going to have to help, and we can help you with that. We have actually subject matter experts in instructional design. So if you don't know how to do it, hey, we got a guy. We will help you get that content shot. We will coach you through that. We will get it edited for you. We even have somebody who can upload it for you. So it's not as daunting how to do this. It's like you just have to understand it's just a process. And it's just like
Yeah.
you got to be patient and you got to help, and you got to think about the end user. You got to think about who you're talking to. And when you create training videos, you got to put yourself in the shoes of the person who's literally standing there. What do you want to convey to them? What is it they absolutely need to know how to do that work and do it
Yeah,
well?
and that makes total and literally, I feel like I was just having this conversation yesterday, because when you have so many different people in your organization, you have to
Yep,
have training at every level.
that's right.
And if you have it already booked, videoed, on demand,
Right.
essentially, then you can start to level people up. And this is an interesting observation, and it's something I've heard all the time, and I absolutely agree with it. But you don't act like a unit manager when you become a unit manager. You have to have that mindset before you are a unit manager,
It's true.
right? I mean, truly, a promotion, if you really think about it, a promotion is you have demonstrated that you can do the job. That
That's
means you've
right.
been doing the job.
That's right.
So a platform like this, I think, makes perfect sense for
Yeah.
someone who sees a path. And it's now they can go and learn a few more skills. Maybe it's
Yep.
leadership, maybe it's coaching, something that they need,
Right.
say, to become a unit manager, right?
That's right.
And
Hey,
and guess what? Since you're actually monitoring, the client can now see, hey, do you realize Jill has been spending extra time in these modules?
there
She
you
took
go.
she took the initiative.
Initiative,
Man,
and,
I
and
could
that's
sell
and
this
that's a
for
big
you.
deal.
I could sell this for you. I want an affiliate code.
And not a problem. We have referral programs.
Oh,
We
do
have
you? I
different
was just
ways.
joking. You
Oh,
do. Great.
absolutely, we do. Oh, you have to because there's a lot of consultants out there. There's a lot of subject matter experts out there, and so that's how this company's going to grow. It's not because of our cleverness or whatever. It's always the same bedrock fundamentals of what this company is. What you need are people that are in the field that have their finger on the pulse. It's sort of like me with hospitals and senior living. It's not because it's just I've been in it for so long, right? So you need to find other subject matters, whether it's in a QSR, a hotel, restaurants, heck, even construction, uh, uh, factories, all that kind of stuff. It's the same issue. It's when you put in perspective that 70% of the workforce is an hourly employee.
That's
Yet
staggering.
it is staggering. I mean, we have so many studies that we have scraped to find this information, and it just keeps coming up the same. It's 70%. And so, then you look at the L&D, learning and development budgets of companies, I would tell you without even I couldn't tell you this, but I will guess it's 90% is going to senior leadership. So it's disproportionate going to management. And I say that from personal experience, having worked for large corporations and seeing what happens. I am a director and I'm responsible for all this business and I have access to just tons of training content. But who's the one doing it in the unit? It's me,
Right.
Mr. Unit Manager, the executive chef, the pastry chef. I mean, whoever. It's like this is who has to do the training, or at least the content needs to come from them because of the subject matter experts, so we can get that recorded and have it available.
So, did you cover as much as you wanted to cover about the using AI in the platform? I know we started on it, and then
We started on it.
I might have gotten you sidetracked. What's
That's okay.
how are you using AI, and what does that mean for you
Right.
exactly?
No, it's a good question. It's machine learning. I mean, let's face it. There's different types of AI out there, and I'm certainly no expert, but I certainly have learned a lot more about it over the last couple of years because of what I do. Um, but at the end of the day, taking advantage of things like in AWS where you have voiceover or subtitles. I mean, we can offer so many languages now that we never even envisioned years ago. As a matter of fact, I did a project once where I hired a gentleman who spoke Spanish. He was bilingual to reshoot a video that we had done. It cost something like $10,000 or $12,000, right?
Good Lord. Now you can just push a button and
Today,
boom,
right?
you
Today I
have
can
it in
push a
30
button
languages.
and Greg on a video could be speaking Chinese, or the subtitles are in Chinese or whatever. I mean, it's like 25 or
It's
30 or
very
40 languages.
practical.
Crazy. I know it's more than that. So the point is there's no excuse anymore not to be able to give content to our entire team, whether English is their native language or not, in that ability. So AI has done that for us. The other thing that AI is doing for us is editing. We have a partner now here in Kansas City who's got a brilliant business called Remaster. He uses AI to help edit content. And so it's amazing what he can do with that. The next thing you're going to see from us is we're getting really focused also on culture, because we understand that it's one thing to learn about how to build a pizza and make and cook it and serve it, right? But it's another, it's like, what is the workforce culture like in your business? Because at the end of the day, culture is what really rises all ships. Culture is what brings the entire organization to another level, whether it's in the C-suite or at the front line. That is what does it. And that culture needs to reflect the values of leadership and ownership, right? And so now I'm the CEO of a company. I can shoot my weekly video, a messaging to the entire crew, whether I have 600,000 employees or just six. I can shoot a video, and and every week on the same QR code as people are clocking in, they can watch a message from the CEO, or
That's
whatever, or celebrate something, or hey, Tony just got a promotion, or Tony
yeah,
just closed a big deal, that kind of
that
stuff.
is powerful right there.
Huge.
That
It's
is powerful. If you send
huge.
a message out across the whole unit,
It's amazing.
recognizing promotions.
Right. The other thing we're doing is collecting information on the learner and the operation. And it's done in a way, it's like the learner can judge, like, hey, 1 to 5, how is that video? And they can tell you, right? So now we're getting that information. So we're using AI to collect more and more information to the point where we're going to be able to, pretty soon, a learner will almost be able to have communication with the system because the system is going to prompt a question. Hey, Tony, we noticed that you're really diving into this. What are you interested in doing? Oh, I want to do this. So that feedback goes back to the employer. It's like Tony has crushed his learning. He's looking for more stuff to do, Mr. Operator. Here's an opportunity to grow somebody, cross-train them, give them more skills. They want to learn more. That's huge.
Greg, you're really touching on something that goes back to something I was podcasting on about a year ago, when I was really diving into how staffing companies are using AI and how it's infiltrated. And one of the areas that they're focused on, one of the ways they use it, is in these kind of smart chat bots. But basically, what you're talking about is building an internal facing AI assistant, essentially, that feeds the worker, right, relevant content when they need it. It kind of makes sense. Like, this is the path, the journey that you're on. And at the same time, it's got another line of communication that says, pay attention to Jill.
That's
because this person,
right. That's exactly right.
Or the opposite.
Right.
Either way.
Here's the red flag you need to go look at.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's super clever. And it
is.
So I guess my final question I really have for you as we begin to wrap up here is, what is your take on the future of robotics, particularly in food? I would love to hear your take on this.
I think robotics are going to become an important piece of all businesses down the road. We have to understand the shifting demographics. We have a lot less younger people. Younger people are also focused on other things, waste, sustainability, energy, things, that are technology focused forward. So what are you going to do if you don't have anybody to vacuum the floors? You're going to get a silly robot to go around and vacuum the dining room or clean. There's even mopping machines now that you can put in your kitchens to clean the floors. So I've been down. If anybody's heard of this company called Middleby, they're a huge conglomerate of kitchen equipment manufacturing. They got an amazing place down in Dallas, a showcase place where you go there for training. I watched a robotic system build pizzas and put them into the grab-and-go boxes.
Yeah,
sure.
That's
why
wild.
not? I mean, you're going to have to get to this point. I'm not saying this replaces everything. And in our country, I don't know from a front of the house point of view how much people are going to bite on that. But in other countries,
I don't see front of the house.
Japan and other places, they're using the front of the house.
Yeah.
So culturally, I don't think we're quite there yet, but it's coming. All this is going to come. And it's not at the detriment of losing employment opportunities, because the employment opportunities are just going to shift to different areas that have to, handle this stuff. It's like if you become a robotic repairman, I'm just using that word. I'm sure it's something else technical. Wow.
Repair person. Come on, repair person.
Repair person. But take a look at what the CEO of Ford said last month. The CEO of Ford is telling the whole world, we can increase our production, but we have a problem because we've gone robotics, but we don't have the team members who physically have to be in there to operate and maintain and work with this equipment. He said,
right, so I've got a question for you. I've got a question for you. This will be my absolute final question then, because I could literally talk to you for hours, because you've.
Oh, it's a great subject.
It is. It's a fantastic, and you deal with workforce a lot, but.
Yeah.
Would you see your platform expanding one day into trades?
100%. We're sort of already doing it, because
that's true.
Yeah, a chef is actually a trade. So one of our clients,
but that wasn't
So you're build an apprenticeship program,
right? But but because you've got this technology kind of dialed in, obviously, when you think of pineapple, that's hospitality. You don't think of pineapple and think plumber.
No, but it's completely valid. There's no doubt that we can assist and help companies
It could
that.
be. It could be. It could
Yep,
be, the trading platform powered by
that's right. And
Pineapple.
that's all it is. It's like our platform can be, you can put your own logo on our platform. We don't care. I mean, it might say
Right.
powered by Pineapple down the bottom, but yeah, it's like, why
That's pretty
not
cool.
have a training company use our technology to support? We're already doing that with an OSHA specialist. He does audits in factories. He's got a huge library of OSHA content, which we have like over 100 of his OSHA videos now. So it's like, what is his leave behind? This gives subject matter experts the ability to make income after the engagement. It's like he's going to be there perpetually forever with his training content on OSHA because he did the audit, he found the gaps, he sees what the problems is, he creates this training program for them. And oh, by the way, the content's hosted on Pineapple Academy. They buy it through him. He's basically our customer now. But the point
Right.
is, it's like, yeah,
That's clever.
we're there to help the subject matter experts.
That's great. That's great. Like I said, we could talk for hours on this because, workforce is an ongoing issue, but we're not going to do that because we have TikTok brains today. And, God bless you if you went, if you're beyond 30 minutes with us. You should be, because Greg is extremely knowledgeable. Greg, it's great seeing you again, man, after all these years. We're
I appreciate it, Tony.
We're gonna have to do another touch base, see how you're doing.
I'd love to. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Listen, everyone, y'all enjoy the Super Bowl. And well,
Another year has gone by. Wow.
We'll see you soon, Greg.
All right, Tony. Thank you.